Okay, so here we can see that here is some of table of contents that my team's member and me will present today. Okay, so we go to for the first slide, which is about introduction. Okay, so we go to the introduction at the first point, which is need to develop a comprehensive multi-party legal agreement that clearly defines the rights and obligations of all stakeholders that involve in event management. So, for this agreement precisely defines the legal rights and reciprocal obligations of our three key stakeholders, which are as first the landlord and the event manager and the registered participants, which is that ensuring a perfectly protected ecosystem.
A successful project requires a transparent, robust organizational structure where authority and operational boundaries are clearly defined. As you can see on the screen, our structural model is governed by a central project committee, which acts as the umbrella body. Beneath this committee, we have established three distinct primary nodes. First, we have the landlord, who represents the property owner. The landlord acts as the primary authority and venue provider. Their main mandate is to guarantee the structural integrity, safety, and legal compliance of the building. Second, we have the event manager, who serves as our project lead. The event manager is the operational focal point. They report directly to the landlord regarding venue usage and are tasked with handling overall logistics, marketing, participant safety, and site rules execution. As engineering technologists, we operate heavily within this domain, coordinating technical activities while managing risk. And finally, we have our participants, the active attendees of the summit. They interact directly with the event under a strict code of conduct and safety protocols set forth by the event manager. This structure ensures that legal and operational accountability flows smoothly between all parties. Section 3.1 of our proposal addresses the formal identification of parties. In contract law, a contract is only valid if the parties involved are clearly identified and possess the legal capacity to enter into an agreement. Our document functions as tri-party binding contract. Under Malaysian law, specifically the Contracts Act 1950, we establish the landlord, event manager, and participant. Okay, first, the landlord defined uh, as the authorized facility representative, maintaining legal ownership and absolute control of the physical complex. And second, the event manager defined as the project lead or organized apparatus responsible for execution, and the participant registered individual who legally binds themselves to our conduct and safety protocols upon registering for the event. Crucially, all these parties confirm they possess the certified legal authority and capacity to execute this contract. This mutual assent establishes a clear baseline of legal accountability, ensure that any subsequent breach can be enforced systematically. The legal agreement is drawn up for a highly specific purpose, which is the execution of the Future Engineers Innovation Summit 2026. The primary purpose of this summit is to provide a premier platform for knowledge exchange, professional networking, and the discussion of sustainable technology solutions among Malaysian engineering professionals. To ensure absolute clarity, the specific details of the event are contractually contractually hard-coded. Okay, first, the event name is Future Engineers Innovation Summit 2026. This type of event is a professional engineering seminar and workshop. Also, it will be on Saturday, 15th August 2026, running from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the main auditorium and Hall A of the engineering complex. Legally, the event manager is strictly authorized to utilize only these designated spaces. Any operational deviation or any extension of these specified hours require a written request and explicit approval from the landlord at least 48 hours in advance. This prevents unauthorized trespass or scheduling conflicts. In Section 3.3 covers the use of premises. This clause sets clear limits on how the physical venue can be utilized, protecting both the landlord asset and the safety of participants. Okay, first we have exclusive and dedicated usage, which is the main auditorium and hall A must be used solely for summit-related activity. Subleasing or using the venue for secondary or commercial purpose is strictly prohibited and would void the contract. Second, regularity and safety compliance. The event manager is contractually obligated to coordinate all operations in strict alignment with local safety ordinance, fire safety standard, and also structural load rules. And finally, restitution and maintenance. Upon the adjournment of the summit, the event manager must ensure the facility are returned promptly to the landlord in their pristine original condition. These components minimize physical risk and ensure the property is respected.
My name is Farah Nuralissa, and now I will explain about the legal risk and breach analysis. Moving on to our risk allocation clauses. In clause 3.6, we structure a clear mutual indemnification system. While the event manager identify the landlord from the external third party participate claims, the landlord remains the strictly liable for the baseline structural safety of the venue. To back this up operationally, Clause 3.8 mandates that the event manager independently procure and maintain a comprehensive public liability insurance policy with a single claim coverage cap set strictly at 150,000 ringgit. And this ensures that if any physical or operational hazard occurs during the setup, exhibition, or teardown, the event ecosystem remain financially protected. Next, Clause 3.7 explicitly details the participate obligation. Attendees are contractually bound by our security protocols and event code of conduct. Any property damage or disruptive action give us the right to immediately remove them from the premise with zero financial refund. Looking at clause 3.10, we define the strict guidelines for termination and amendments. To prevent the unrecorded changes, all contract modification must be made in writing and mutually signed by all parties. Legally, recognized force majeure occurrences serve as the singular condition under which contract performance may be waived without the penalty. Next, one of our most robust addition is Clause 3.9, which is establish our multi-tiered dispute resolution framework. Traditional court litigation is slow and incredibly expensive for an engineering tech event. Instead, we designed a fast-track three-step model. First, an emergency 14 days direct negotiation phase. Second, if unsettled, it progresses to formal mediation within Malaysia. Finally, if the mediation fails within 30 days, the dispute is referred to binding arbitration. To give this maximum legal force, it is governed by Arbitration Act 2005 of Malaysia and executed under the strict administrative rules of an Asian International Arbitration Center, or we can call it AIAC.
Okay, so thank you to my team member. Now I will lead the deep dive analysis into our category C breach scenario. This critical situation involves a material breach where the landlord unilaterally cancels our venue agreement with less than 48 hours notice. Okay, so generally, we can see here that under Malaysian statutory law, this incident is governed strictly by Section 40 of the Contracts Act 1950. By pulling out at the last minute, the landlord has refused to perform their promise in its entirety. This failure goes directly to the root of the contract, and and that is making it a fundamental material breach rather than a simple delay. Furthermore, under Section 57, the landlord cannot claim frustration of contract due to scheduling errors because the breach is self-induced. So, the landlord is fully liable, and both the event manager and our participants are instantly discharged from all reciprocal duties or future payments. Moving to our next slide, we must recognize that modern legal agreements are deeply interconnected. A single failure by the primary venue provider triggers a catastrophic that cascading domino effect across all parties. First, we face sunk financial losses that capital already spent on non-refundable third-party contracts like catering, stage setup, and marketing materials is completely wiped out. Secondly, it creates participant hardship. Attendees traveling from afar have already secured non-refundable travel and hotels. A last-minute cancellation strains them, sparking immediate panic and intense refund demands. Finally, this causes permanent reputational damage to the event manager and ruining commercial trust and eliminating any chance of securing corporate sponsorship for future engineering events.
To fight this dominoes effect, Section 4.3 established harsh financial penalties against the defaulting landlord. This includes complete 100% restitution of our booking deposit within 48 hours, compensation for all verified vendors' sunk costs, and a pre-agreed liquidate damage penalty equals to 150% of the total venue hire fee to offset the administrative overhead of handling the emergency mass cancellation. As you can see in our timeline diagram, if the landlord resists these penalties, we bypass the court entirely. We move from day one of the breach into our 14-day negotiation through our 30 days mediation window and straight into expedite AIAC binding arbitration. This strategic pathway allow us to legally force a swift financial payout, enabling us to cover our losses, refund our participants, and maintain total professional accountability.
To resolve disputes efficiency, the agreement follows a three-stages process. First, both parties enter a 14 days negotiation period to discuss possible solutions such as compensation or an alternative venue. If negotiations fail, the dispute proceeds to mediation with an independent mediator for up to 30 days. If mediation is still unsuccessful, the dispute is referred to binding arbitration under the Asian International Arbitration Center AIAC, where the arbitrator's decision is final and legally enforceable. In conclusion, this legal agreement clearly protects the interests of the landlord, event manager, and participants. In the event of last-minute venue cancellation, the agreement provides clear remedies, financial compensation, and also a structured dispute resolution process by using negotiation, mediation, and AIAC arbitration. Disputes can be resolved fairly, efficiently, and without lengthy court proceedings. Thank you so much for your attention. We are very appreciate your time. Thank you.